group that helps put on this convention. And it's my pleasure to welcome you here to the 2016 Presidential Nominating Convention of the Green Party of the United States. Alright, so we're going to have a pretty light program tonight because we want you to mingle and mix and socialize and get to know each other. But we have some really amazing guests in the room tonight, so we're going to give them some time to say a few words. I'm going to turn the program over to Andrea Merida, who is a steering committee member from Colorado. And she's going to be our MC for the night.
Go Broncos!
Go marijuana!
Broncos and marijuana. Woo! We said we're green, right? Okay. So Hillary, am I bringing our friends up? All right. So now I understand what's going on. Hi everybody, I'm Andrea Merida. And you look to be a room of greens. Are there any greens in this room? I can't hear you. All right, if you're a green, repeat after me.
After me.
After me. Vote Green 2016.
Vote Green 2016!
Again.
Vote Green 2016!
Vote
Green 2016! Vote Green 2016!
All right, you know how to say things. That's cool. Right on. As you know, and if you don't know this, I don't know what you're doing, but we are also a global party. Is that not correct? We have some amazing friends here that have come to check us out, size us up, give us some advice, and I'd like to invite some of them to come up and say a couple of words to us. First of all, we have present with us Jose Antolín Polanco, who happens to be the president of the Partido Socialista Verde, and if you don't know what that I just said, then you got a problem. You better keep up. But he is our brother from the Dominican Republic. He's going to say some things to us. And again, if you don't understand Spanish, you better keep up. But that's okay because I'm going to translate. So, señor, por favor, adelante.
Buenas noches, damas y caballeros. Un abrazo verde desde República Dominicana.
A green embrace from the Dominican Republic.
Bendiciones a todos.
Blessings to all of you.
República Dominicana es una isla en el centro de los huracanes en el Caribe Central.
The Dominican Republic, which is an isle in the middle of hurricanes in the Caribbean.
Somos verdes.
We are green.
Porque tenemos un corazón
Because we have a heart
que late,
that beats,
que vive
that lives,
y quiere ayudar a vivir a los demás.
and wants to help others live.
Somos verdes
The greens are green
porque amamos la vida.
because we love life.
Y somos políticos
And we're political
porque queremos hacer las leyes
because we want to make laws
que protejan la madre tierra.
that protects Mother Earth. Thank you. And we have the next person. Please come forward. Please come forward.
Thank you, Andrea. My name is Kelly Yen. I'm the coordinator of the Global Greens. And we are all members of the Global Greens. And together we are members of the fastest growing political movement in the whole world right now. There are Green parties in nearly 100 countries around the globe. And together we are working on the same policies for the same values from the grassroots level, electing village chiefs down to the council level, up into the national level, at the regional level, and at the global level. And what we do together is to support one another, to make each other stronger by building up our political impact through our ideas, aligning those ideas, having shared projects, shared campaigns at election time, campaigns that we all care about, such as electoral system reform, which is what Greens in the UK, in Pakistan, in Japan, in Taiwan, in Australia, in Canada, and here in the US we are all working on, as well as climate. So these present enormous opportunities for us to use what makes us different from our other parties out there. The fact that we are global and that we are totally aligned, we have the same culture, the same values. And so that's what we're here for. The Global Greens are here to be at your service to make that impact and scale it up. So I'm here at your service. I work in Brussels. It's my first time coming to visit the GPUS convention. It's really an honor to be here, and I look forward to talking with each of you in the coming days so that we can build what comes out of here into the Global Greens Congress, which will be held next year in Liverpool, England, March 30 to April 2nd, so mark your calendars. It'll be the biggest gathering of Global Greens ever. Some 2,000 people will be there. We'll rent out the entire convention center. We'll have the best Beatles tribute band in Liverpool. And we'll be talking about everything over those 4 days. And it only happens once every 5 years, so it's a really a rare opportunity to make these relationships directly with the Greens in the Dominican Republic, with the Greens who are emerging in the Middle East, with Greens. I just came from Algeria, where I was meeting with the new Algerian Green Party, and they're working with a new Green Party in Morocco that's going to rent out a whole apartment building to host all Greens who will go to COP22, to provide all your logistical needs when you arrive there, and start planning the campaign. How do we influence the United Nations? How do we get our governments to ratify the treaty? So, these are the things we do, and it's really, really exciting. So it's so cool to be here with you, and I look forward to our future together. Thanks.
Now you heard from a couple of our Green family from around the country, and I think it's time now to bring it a little bit closer to home. I guess we cannot really have this party until we are given the blessing from our people from on the ground, from the mighty Harris County. Okay, it's not Houston County. It's Harris County Green Party. So I'd like to bring our comrades up here to give you an official welcome and to let you know the lay of the land, and so that we can bond with them. Here they are. First team.
Hi there, everyone. Good evening and welcome to Houston. We are so happy to have you all here. Thank you for making the trip here. Last year when we were awarded this event, I thought, August, that's pretty late. It's gonna be pretty darn hot. I thought, the worst two things that could possibly happen, a hurricane. Okay? I think we're safe, but I think we're gonna get something after y'all go back home. Okay? Or you can have a week-long conference with temperatures 100 degrees. Okay? Not including the heat index. Okay? But that's what we're getting. But fortunately, this is Texas, this is Houston, and we do air conditioning really well. It's my hope that we all leave here bonded, knowing what we need to do to win some elections out there, have the tools to see us through our challenges, and elect some new Congress people, city council people, some education committee people, get through our universal health care issues, that we all stay in touch, create positive, effective networks, and hopefully y'all will want to come back to Houston even when you don't have a Green Party convention to come to. But you can always come to our Harris County Green Party meetings.
this boy from Brooklyn wants to tell you, you all come back.
You hear?
Okay, so we have a little bit of a special treat here. Not a little bit, but a big special treat. Who watches CNN? Raise your hand. Don't be shy.
We'll admit it.
I don't watch CNN either. You know, mainstream media, blah, blah, blah. I know. But I did happen to catch a really, really interesting video not all that long ago. And as you know, we have very important allies that were in the Bernie or Bust movement. And I happened to catch this super inspiring video from this leader, a spokesperson for the Bernie or Bust movement. I watched this video clip from her CNN interview, and I immediately thought to myself, yes, I want to be a Bernie or Bust, and then I realized I'm a Green. So I couldn't do it. So, but I have to tell you, one thing that this political situation has shown is that there are people out there ready to take it to the mat for this democracy. And we are not, even here in the Green Party, but we are not going to take the prescribed duopoly candidate who you can't even tell one from the other policy-wise. Am I right? Okay. Our guest here feels the same way. We have, where'd she go? Oh, there you are. Yane Indigo. And we're going to ask her to come up and to read us the Riot Act, or just to say hi to us. So here she is, Yane. Everybody give her a big round.
Hi, how's everyone doing? So, I just would like to know who all I'm speaking to. So, how many people in the room are Green Party members who live in Houston or in the Texas area? Okay, awesome. And where are the other Green Party members? Just raise your hand if you awesome. Now, are there any people here who have not traditionally been affiliated with the Green Party, but who have been supporting Bernie and are now here to learn? All right. Awesome. So, I've been a registered Democrat since I was about 21, 22 years old, so for over 20 years. And I originally was registered as an independent, and then there was a primary election, and I live in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania, which has closed primaries, and I was forced to associate myself with the party. And as a black woman, and particularly as a black woman in Philadelphia, that just automatically becomes the Democratic Party. And so I've been in the Democratic Party for all of that time. But the reality is that because I'm Gen X, and Gen X as well as the millennials, we're just really not that loyal to the party. We've all past that. And we're at a place now where what really matters is what's going to happen. And who's going to make what happen, right? So, you know, it's very, very easy for me to, always to imagine affiliating with a different party. Before Bernie started to run, I had become familiar with him. I was watching him because he spoke to the issues that I had been advocating around. A particular thing that he spoke to, which is something that I speak to often, is the issue of wealth inequity, and just trying to educate people. And I'm a black woman from the poorest large city in the country. I have a master's degree and am eligible for welfare benefits. And so, I understand very, very personally what that wealth inequity looks like. And I hear, because a lot of the people, as as a woman with a master's degree, with a large set of skills, I interact with large groups of people. I interact with people who sit on porches. You know, I call them the porch sitters, and I understand. I often want to be a porch sitter, you know, when there's not a lot that you can accomplish and you don't have access to resources, there's a certain point where you just hit a wall. And you just like, you know, I'm just going to like, at least like have some smiles today, right? So but I also deal a lot with elected officials. I deal, because I do a lot of volunteering, a lot of activism, so I deal with a range of people. And I confront constantly the assumptions that people make about poor people. People who don't have a lot of resources around their intellect, around their abilities, their skill set, their work ethic. And so I've constantly been working to confront those people who make those assumptions with the reality that there's absolutely no connection between these things at all, right? And so then I hear Bernie Sanders, and he's talking about these things, and I get really excited. And suddenly, there are all these additional people who are also getting really excited about these issues and coming together. And it's been a really beautiful ride, because we come across people, you know, if you're an activist, that automatically means you care, right? That automatically means you care about something. You care about people, you care about the planet, and your driving force for the work that you do is that love and that passion. So what happened within this movement is that all these passionate people were running up to each other and hugging the crap out of each other all day long, and then saying, let's roll up our sleeves and let's get this work done. And we saw what happened through the whole primary process. We saw what the Democratic Party did to the incredible candidacy that Bernie Sanders brought to the table. And we saw what he did with the Democrats to the voters who selected Bernie and who they blocked and who they put someone else in that position who was not the person that the majority of people selected and who has experiencing no consequences to that reality, right?
Right.
So then there has to be a question. Are you going to try to go inside there and reform this party that has demonstrated in every way, with every opportunity, that they really do not give a flying fuck about what it is that you care about, what it is that matters to you, and what's important to you? Or are you going to open up your mind to the possibility that there is something that's in place, an organization, a national organization that's already in place that actually wants to hear from and represent your needs, your interests, and your leadership. And for me, it's not a hard decision. I'm not interested in running up against a bunch of walls. I'm not interested in speaking to no one. Because if nobody's listening to you, then you're speaking to an emptiness, right? I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in having my voice, my insights, my experience. I mean, we've got in the Democratic Party people who are billionaires trying to solve the deal and the issues of poverty.
Say it.
How do you know? You have no understanding. You have no idea what it's like to walk into your house and your power is off. You have no idea what it's like to watch your 5-year-old daughter open up the refrigerator door and start crying. You have no idea what it's like to walk into your school, your public school, and there's no toilet paper there, and the only way toilet paper is going to get there is if you spend the money you've got when you're trying to decide whether or not to spend your last dime on toilet paper or toothpaste. Now you got to figure out if you're going to buy toothpaste for your house or if you're going to buy toothpaste for the school that your child is going to, that the government's supposed to be providing that for. And you live in a Democratic city, and you're supposed to be believing in the Democrats that run your city. How is that supposed to happen?
Say it. Don't be easy, say it.
Exactly. So I exit with the other Dems, and I'm coming here because I believe that there's an open invitation here. And to me, it doesn't matter what the Green Party has been, honestly. It doesn't really matter to me if the Green Party has actually been able to accomplish a world of things at this point. It doesn't matter if the Green Party has been fully representative of everybody and everything. What matters to me is that everything that I've heard from people who are in the leadership, as well as from Jill Stein, presidential candidate Jill Stein, is that the Green Party wants to be representative of all of us. Even if they haven't been, that the Green Party is interested in opening up the doors for everybody who is activating around this goal of a better world. So I want to say a little something to the Green Party, and I want to say a little something to my fellow Bernie or Busters. To the Green Party, the people who have already been in the Green Party, what I want you to be paying attention to and thinking about really inside your hearts is the fact that you guys are probably, for the most part, mostly American, right? And what that means is that you bring with you the intrinsic racism and the intrinsic perspectives that come with white supremacy that are ingrained in our society. And that in spite of whatever it is in your heart and whatever it is in your conscious mind that tells you something different. You may already know that all men are created equal and that all women are created equal. But there's been programming that's been ingrained in you that makes you behave as if that's not the truth. And we need to all acknowledge that so that we can counter that, because you're not going to be able to be a party that brings in a bunch of activists who are stepping up against these issues if you are unconsciously presenting those same things as an initial party, right? So that's something you're going to have to really think about and figure out how to address it. I deal with this constantly when I go into organizations. I was thinking about this earlier with somebody. I got my master's degree from Bennington College, and the program was a very, very white program. We went in there and you're looking around trying to see if there are any people who aren't white in this program. And there are very, very few. You find it eventually, but there are very few. And the program directors were like, yes, when I talked to them about it, they're like, yes, this is something we want to work on. And we decided to talk to the community and to develop a diversity initiative. And every step we took was a battle. And not because they didn't genuinely want to diversify, but because they did not have the ability to identify the white supremacist perspectives that were getting in the way of everything we were trying to accomplish, including, even though they said they've been working on this for years trying to diversify the program, and the program was very white, they still wanted to talk, those of us who were brought in to affect this, how wrong we were with everything we were trying to do. How do you know? You obviously don't know what you're doing. Or I wouldn't have had this conversation with you. But they just not understand that they don't know everything, because that's what we're taught, is that the white man knows everything and has brought everything to us. And so we need to just understand that reality and be prepared and ready to let go of some things, including some power. You're not going to be able to grow and hold on to your power, the power that you're used to. You're going to have to reimagine it. You're going to have to transform it in order to really embrace. And you have to know that if this party is going to be what it can be, if this party can be the party for the entire progressive movement, and it has the potential to do that, if this party is going to do that, then you have to know that you cannot in your mind right now know what it's going to look like 2 years from now. You have to be willing to see an absolute and complete transformation happen. And you have to ask yourself the thing that's most important. Is what's most important, having the right to put your signature on something? Is the most important thing having the right to say, I did this, or to take ownership? Or is the most important thing to ensure that everybody has food?
Right.
That every child is given fair access to an education, that we have a society that works for everybody. And if the latter is what's most important, then all of us need to be willing to give everything else up. We have to let go of every inch of power, every inch of ego that we have had, and begin to actually do the work and empower everybody around us. What I say is, while within that community we do have to do some of that same work, but we also have to be willing to be relentless in this relationship and actually holding each other to the fire. We can't just say, I didn't like what they did and roll, because there's no good place to go to. We have to say, I'm not feeling that, and I'm going to talk about it. We have to be willing to keep doing the work. We have to be willing to keep approaching. There are people who have been veterans of this party. There are people who have been in this party for years and years and years. And then there are a whole bunch of us that are coming in new. And we've got all kinds of ideas and experiences as that we're bringing to the table, but we're bringing them into something that is already here. And we got to have some balance, but we also have to keep fighting forward. And if we come up against resistance, we have to say that what we're feeling is resistance, but we also have to be willing to say, that makes sense. We have to really, this is an important time. This is an important movement. I really, really am about changing this world into a place of equity and fairness and justice and freedom. That is what my life is about. So I take all of these moments and every one of these days extremely seriously. And so I wanted to speak about this from that understanding of that seriousness. Because if we don't overcome whatever our barriers are, then this is going to be something that's lost forever. And we can't afford that. We can't afford it because if we don't do what we're supposed to do, half of Philadelphia is going to be underwater. You know what I'm saying? If we don't do what we're supposed to do, then our daughters are going to be at war in Syria and in Iran and in Palestine and who knows wherever else a Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump might be able to say that is. I don't think that it is at all coincidental that they're all of a sudden talking about adding women to the draft. They're talking about that because they know that they have wars planned and they need bodies for those wars. We have to put our bodies in the way of that effort. The thing that I consistently communicate, and I really, really believe this so much, is that the most important thing that we have, the most important tool that we have in our arsenal is the spirit of love from which we function. That is the most powerful thing we have. We have to consistently work within that context. I have people in my Twitter feed all day, and people say things that are not what we think, and then people start attacking those people. I'm like, yo, take it back to love. We got to learn together. We got to grow together. We have to educate each other, but we have to never forget to be loving each other. And we have to remember that every single human being, we cannot be fighting for the rights of all but 3 people. It doesn't work. We can't be fighting for the rights of only the 99%. It doesn't work. The 1% is a part of the system, and they were created by the system. We are all one humanity, and we are all part of the same living race. So we have to really make sure that we're winning on behalf of everyone. Even the ones who are standing against us, even the ones that are fighting against us. You don't have to argue all day with a Clinton supporter.
Come on.
You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. But you do need to remember that that's somebody you're fighting for too. You're fighting for the Trump supporters. We're supposed to be in a country that allows that people can say, I hate all black people. A person can say that. They don't get to stop you from being able to eat. They don't get to stop you from being able to get educated. But they have the right to speak their truth. That's what we're fighting for. And if you try to diminish one, then you're diminishing all the others. So we have to make sure that we are the ones who are transcending. We have to be the ones that transcend the whole rest of the process. And we have to do it by constantly touching base, again, with the love that's in our hearts and in our spirits. If we fight with love, if we battle and we're soldiers of love, then we are guaranteed to win. We're guaranteed to win. So the last thing I want to say, we've talked about, people are talking, and people have different perspectives about what's possible, right? And what's possible for this election season. And we've got 90 days to move forward with this campaign. And that certainly is an uphill battle. But I encourage you all not to hear the messaging that says that it's not possible for us to win. Because there's no desire that anybody has to fight hard as hell for something they're going to definitely lose. The reality is that everything that we can imagine is possible. And if we're going to, no matter what it is, maybe you think that our one goal needs to be to get to 5%. Maybe you think our goal needs to be to get to 15% and get on the dates. Whatever it is that we're doing, if we're striving to win this presidency, we're going to accomplish those goals. That's where we need to be pushing our heart. That's where we need to be pushing our effort. We need to be communicating to everyone what is really possible. And And then we need to be understanding and strategizing based on that possibility. We cannot strategize for 15%. We have to strategize for our win.
Thank you.
So let's just spend this time really getting ourselves driven and organized and connected, and then let's go win this shit in November. Oh my God. You got the marching orders, right? Okay. Thank you so much. I think she needs another round of applause. Because we have to represent from the other side of the huge spectrum. Repeat after me. First of all, I want to see, where are my Latinos at? A little bit more. Where's all my Latinos at? Sí, okay, say it with me. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. All right. Now that does not mean the people united will never be divided. Please don't say that. It's defeated. Okay. So a couple of housekeeping things, and then we promise we won't keep talking your ear off. Although that was pretty good ear candy. I have to say. First of all, immediately after this meeting, if you consider yourself to be a watermelon, and by what do I mean by that? Where are my watermelons at? Right here. Raise your fist in revolution if you're a watermelon. And by that I mean you're green on the outside and you're red on the inside. Immediately after this reception, we will be out in that foyer. I said French. Out there, we're going to congregate. We're going to find somewhere to meet because we need to kick off our allegiance, right? Also, another housekeeping notice here after this meeting in the South Downtown Room number 261 at sometime around 8:30 after this is going to be the Women's Caucus. They're going to show a movie. It is not going to be Iron Angels, unfortunately. It'll be something else of social import. So please, you know, if you're not a watermelon, please go, especially if you're male, go hang out with the National Women's Caucus. You could be intersectional, can't you? Okay. All right. So please, I think that's the end of our talking your ears off. Sorry? Told me I had to say so. To remind you that tomorrow we're going to be meeting in the caucus room. If you're a Latinx caucus, you all need to be there. We need to bust the doors open because we're too many. Tomorrow morning at 9:15. So we're going to start at 9. So let's all congregate for that. So we have nothing else. Thank you so much for letting us. 2 more housekeeping things.
Okay, so one of the housekeeping things about the caucus and committee meetings tomorrow morning at 9:15 is that just meet in the multi-purpose room. If your group is large, you will get a room. If your group is small, you will get a table. So that we can accommodate people. The other thing is So as you can probably have gathered, our systems were a little overwhelmed by a lot of last-minute registrations. Hashtag good problems to have. This is a little bit embarrassing, but if you have meal cards that you are not using for whatever reason, you missed a dinner, you decided to go out, you slept in and didn't eat breakfast, we are actually physically out of those meal cards and we still need some. So if you are willing to donate your meal cards, please see me, and there'll also be a bucket at the registration desk tomorrow morning. And that is all. Now meet, mingle, enjoy the rest of the food. Black Caucus meets tomorrow? Yes. Lavender Caucus meeting tomorrow. Lots and lots of coffee. Lavender is 8 a.m. over breakfast. Great. All right. The credentialing table will be open by 9:30 in the morning. All right. Thank you.
What do you want?
Hey mom, look, we're live on Facebook. Yeah. Oh. Yes. Representing the Rio Grande Valley. Yeah.